Hello everyone, welcome to the Ginger Snaps here. I'm your host, Steven Harrold, and in today's video, I'm actually going to be doing a very special type of, showing my collection. Now, of course, as you guys see, the new background shows all the VHSs on the wall. So now this is kind of the video where I'm going to show off the VHSs that I have in not only my collection, but also in my friend Kris's collection. And pretty much just to get a glimpse of what I have in store for the coming years, because obviously the VHS collection is just going to grow and grow and grow. But this is going to be the first video where I show it off. So let's take a look at all the VHSs I and Kris have. We're going to start with the top row, and we're going to basically go around, and I'm going to specify which ones are mine and Kris's. So, of course, we have Nosferatu, the classic, Max Schreck playing Dracula, the Undead, back in 1922. This is Kris's. Phantom of the Opera, Lon Chaney Sr., one of the all-time classics as well. This is Kris's as well. The Hunchback of Notre Dame with Lon Chaney Sr. again. Of course, Kris is kind of really obsessed with Lon Chaney Sr. right now. So any of these movies, he is going to grab. Now, Dracula and Frankenstein, I think you guys already know, back a few years ago, these two movies, and of course, The Mummy with Boris Karloff, these used to be mine, but I traded them to Kris because he kind of wanted them more. So I was like, okay, well, he gave me a few tapes and I gave him these ones. So those three are with Kris's collection. He does have The Creature from the Black Lagoon because I got that for him for Christmas one year. We got the original Blob. This is Kris's as well. Now, Psycho originally was mine, but I gave it to Kris because he had The Birds and Vertigo in this Alfred Hitchcock collection, and it only made sense just to kind of give it to him. And, he gave me a tape back, but, I thought I'd be that kind of special friend. Now, the other Vertigo one with this one here, this one's actually mine, and Rear Window is Kris's as well. Then we got The Terror with Jack Nicholson. That is Kris's as well, with Rosemary's Baby following up right there, Kris's as well. Now, this is what you're going to mainly see a lot of. You're going to see double tapes of films. So, of course, we have two copies of The Town That Dreaded Sundown. One is mine, one is Kris's. We both got these from the Calgary Horror Con. Kris got one of them last year. I got one of them this year because he really ripped on me on not pulling the trigger on getting one of them. Now, of course, The Omen, that's mine as well. And The Exorcist is mine as well. Rest in peace to William Friedkin. Can't wait to do this review for that movie coming up this year on the 50th anniversary. We have the Amityville Horror. This is Kris's as well. You got two different copies of The Shining. Now, this one here, this is my copy. This one is Kris's copy. Let me know which cover you guys actually like in the comments below. Of course, now we have The Children of the Corn. Now, I have this copy. This is Kris's. Of course, the reason why we do have the double tapes up here is because of the fact that it's like, well, one of them is different from the other, but, we don't have that many horror films that we can complete all the rows. So once we do, and we can get rid of some of the doubles or whatnot. Then, of course, The Silence of the Lambs, one of mine. Sleepwalkers, an underrated Stephen King movie. I can't wait to do a review for that one, but that's Kris's copy as well. Robert Englund in The Phantom of the Opera, that is Kris's copy. I need to watch this one because I've never seen it, and it really bugs me that I've never seen it. Lake Placid, this is Kris's copy. He's a big Betty White fan, so yeah, of course, he's gonna have that. The original Wicker Man, no, not the one with Nick Cage in it, sadly, but I need to rewatch this one. Maximum Overdrive, of course, I need to rewatch that one as well. I remember watching it back in the day. These two tapes are obviously Kris's. Then, of course, Gremlins, that is Kris's as well. Now, for the newest one in the collection, Wait Until Dark with Audrey Hepburn and Alan Arkin. This is actually the newest one in the collection, and I remember my ex, she was a big Audrey Hepburn fan, and this is one of the movies I loved watching, and I just hated the fact that I gave her the Blu-ray for it, because fuck, it's kind of hard now. Cujo, Kris's copy. Of course, The Faculty, this is Kris's as well. This is one of the first VHS tapes I ended up collecting. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I know, it's one of those fucking stupid horror horror movies from the 90s, but, you know, it's one of them. I just have to get I Still Know just to complete it. Misery, this is Kris's copy. Now, this one, Arachnophobia, this is Kris's copy. This is Kris's tape. But y'all remember the spider that was in front of the sun, right? So I don't understand why the spider was removed. Someone please give me the details in the comments. I don't know why. We have The People Under the Stairs. This is Kris's copy as well. And Pet Sematary. This movie is a tough one for me to watch now being a father. So this is a tough one. And of course, that's my personal copy. Prom Night, Jamie Lee Curtis at her finest as well. One of the best films. I have to actually rewatch this. Like I said, the last time I had watched this was on VHS, but it was way too damn dark. So I need to rewatch this on high resolution. But yeah, this is my personal copy. Now, of course, as you guys see here, we have Creepshow and Creepshow 2. These are two of Kris's practical holy grails. He will never sell these. He loves Creepshow. I wish I could show you guys what else we have, but one of these days, we'll show you the den. We'll show you the horror den after it's been complete. But yeah, these are his pride and joys. Now, of course, we have the Funhouse. I had just watched this film last year and dug it, like, immediately. So I ended up getting my own copy on DVD, but I need to get my own copy on 4K and VHS. But yeah, I hate Kris for grabbing this one. It pisses me off. And I hate this one too, Body Bags, because big John Carpenter fan. It's been years since I've seen this one, and Kris ended up buying it. I'm like, go fuck yourself, Kris. I really like this one. Now, you're going to see a straight line of John Carpenter films. So, Vampires, one of my favorite vampire movies of all time. And honestly, I know a lot of people say this movie sucks, but it's one of my favorite vampire movies. Escape from New York. I know this is not a horror film, but it's from John Carpenter. And I'm like, look, Kurt Russell as Snake fucking Plissken. You have Donald Pleasance as the fucking president of the United States. And of course, you know, you got a bunch of other actors in this movie. And the action sequences in this movie are so top-notch. It's such a fucking classic. So it's gotta be in the collection. Of course, we got They Live. This is Kris's own personal copy. Rest in peace, Rowdy Roddy Piper. One of the best movies, especially an alien-type film. And this is the one that I love. And for anyone who complains about how long that fight goes on, yeah, fucking obviously you don't watch wrestling enough. Of course, John Carpenter's Christine, one of the best Stephen King adaptation films of all time. And of course, John Carpenter being the one that directed it, you knew the score was going to be great, and the score was absolutely great. Just like the score for The Fog. Now you see two covers of The Fog. This one is Kris's, this one is mine. I always like to go for the original poster arts. I always like to go in for those. But I love The Fog. I already did a review on this one, and it still holds up today. It's still a classic. Just like the all-time classic, The Thing. Now, of course, as you can see, one's mine, one's Kris's. We both lucked out at the Calgary Horror Con last year and grabbed our own copies. We both kind of called dibs on The Thing, and when we saw two copies, we're like, oh, okay, well, I guess we both win. But yeah, John Carpenter's masterpiece, 100%. Then we move to Day of the Dead and Dawn of the Dead in these type of cases, and these cases are actually really nice. These are Kris's personal copies. And this one, this Dawn of the Dead, this one's mine. I need to get to this review because I really fucking love Dawn of the Dead. Just like how I really love Night of the Living Dead. Obviously, one's mine, one's Kris's, and still a seminal zombie film. George A. Romero classic, just like the other three here. And they just look nice, especially with the fact that, you know, the box is open and like a book. So I fucking love that. And the fact that Kris got me one for Christmas too is really nice. Then of course we move on to Evil Dead 2 and Evil Dead. Of course, Evil Dead has this certain case, and Evil Dead 2 has this case, and Evil Dead. These are both Kris's. And of course, I've already done my reviews for these movies, and you guys saw that the VHS tapes were part of those reviews. Now we get to a very controversial thing, and I'll get to it. We have Jaws and Jaws 2, different covers of Jaws 2. I put this one in a certain kind of plastic casing because it's not bad of a fucking case. Now, these are all Kris's. Now, the reason why I'm going to get into a controversial take is because I haven't seen the first Jaws in years, and I've never seen the other three. And to me, I feel like Jaws is overrated. Why? Because we've had so many mediocre killer shark movies. So one of these days, I'll end up doing a review, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's not overrated. But let's get to the personal shelf that I love the most. The slasher ones that hold near and dear to me. Of course, John Carpenter's Halloween. This is my own personal copy. Kris has another copy of this, but it's on the shelf because we have this copy of Halloween. This is another one I have that you guys can see kind of changes from the pumpkin to Michael's face. Now you got 2 copies of Halloween 2, the same fucking copies. One's mine, one's Kris's. And of course, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. One's mine, one's Kris's. And sorry, but Halloween 3 is great. Okay, it's a classic fucking Halloween movie. And just because Michael Myers isn't in it, people shit on it. And it's like, it's the worst movie ever made because Michael Myers isn't in it. Well, here's a nice little fun fact. Michael Myers isn't in this fucking movie, but it's hailed as a classic. So, if you're gonna shit on this movie because Michael isn't in it, then this one sucks by proxy, I guess. Then, of course, we have Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. I did a video on Sledgehammer Horror on my first horror movie, and this was the first horror movie I ever watched. So this one holds a dear place in my heart because it was the first Halloween movie I watched. And ironically enough, it was a twofer. It was a back-to-back night. I watched Halloween 4 and Halloween 5, and on the same night. Now, I prefer Halloween 4, not Halloween 5. Of course, as you guys can see, I don't have Halloween 6 and Resurrection, but I do have Halloween H2O, which at the time, this does serve its purpose as a good sequel, but let's face it, it's Scream. Now, the only series that is actually complete is the Nightmare on Elm Street series. So, of course, Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, this is my own personal copy. Now, Halloween's 4, 5, and H2O, mine. One is Kris's, one is Kris's, and Kris has one of these Halloweens. But now, this is where it gets hard. So, Nightmare on Elm Street, this is mine. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, this is my copy as well. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is Kris's copy. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, me and Kris have our own separate copies. Nightmare on Elm Street 5, I bought it at a flea market but gave it to Kris on his birthday, so now this is his. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, this is Kris's. He got it at the Calgary Horror Con. Wes Craven's New Nightmare, this is my own copy. And then Freddy vs. Jason, as you guys seen in my fucking review with Kris, this is Kris's tape. But of course, the only Friday the 13th movie I have so far is the best one, Jason Lives. This is my favorite Jason film of all time. It was the first one I ever watched, and many people put this as number 1, and I do too. Now, this is a Kris thing. I have an obsession with Halloween. Kris has an obsession with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, he picked up the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 from the Calgary Horror Con this year, and he was lucky to do so. Now, Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, he has a clamshell version of this, and I have this version. So, my version's on the shelf because, I don't know, it just fits well. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation, the movie that Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger disown. So, here's the thing. They disown this movie so much that you have the one copy, then you flip it over, it's the other poster. They don't show their likenesses on either of the copies. So they disowned it and want no affiliation with it whatsoever. Then, of course, we get into Child's Play. These 3 I picked up the same fucking day I picked up Halloween 4. So that's a blessing. And obviously, Child's Play 2, Child's Play 3. Love these 3 films. I just need Bride of Chucky pretty much to complete the VHS collection. Of course, Sleepaway Camp. This movie I can't wait to do a review on because I want to see how many people say this movie has not aged well because of homophobia or transphobia. I really want someone to say something about this because, trust me, back in the day, they weren't being transphobic about this movie. So don't even get at me when it comes to the comments. April Fool's Day. Oh yeah, this one is Kris's copy.
April Fool's Day, the one horror movie that, oh, I guess I won't spoil it. I'll do a review for that. Maybe on April Fool's Day next year. But this is Kris's copy. Candyman. Now, this is my own personal copy. When I found this, it was still sealed until I realized, no, it actually was not sealed. Someone had repackaged it in plastic, so I just took the plastic off. And of course, we got Scream and Scream 2. These also were early pickups for me when it came to VHS horror collecting because they just happened to be in the same shelf. So I was like, well, I'll grab them too. Just need 3. But 3 seems to be harder to find. Then, of course, Valentine. This is my own personal copy as well. And then, of course, on clamshell, Hellraiser. This is actually Kris's copy of Hellraiser. I haven't watched all the Hellraiser movies, so eventually I will get to this series. But yeah, this is basically all the horror movies in the collection on the shelf, but there's just more to go. That's why I left some room up there for another shelf.
Just collection. Also, so that's a video, guys. Let me know what you guys have in your VHS collection that I don't have or that I do have that you kind of wish you had in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you also hit that thumbs up and subscribe for more content. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can get notified about all the other videos coming out on this channel. Other than that, guys, that's it for me. This has been the Ginger Snaps here. I'm your host, Steven Harrold, and I will talk to you guys later, and remember to stay spooky.